Twice, South Korea made XRP explode. 2017, 2020. Both times, the fuse got lit in Seoul before the rest of the world even woke up. And this week, South Korea's largest bank just made a massive blockchain move that has your entire feed screaming one thing: XRP is going live with JPMorgan. So is this the third fuse? Here's where I've got to be straight with you. I actually read the announcement, word for word, and it's not what they're telling you. It's not XRP. It's not even a public crypto. Not one token. The fake tweets, the fire emojis, the "it's happening," you're getting played, and I can prove it. But do not click away, because the real story underneath the hype is actually bigger than the fake one. A giant bank going live on blockchain rails is a signal about where all of this is headed and about where XRP genuinely fits in what's coming next. The reason everyone's screaming is wrong. The reason to pay attention is very, very real. So I'm going to give you the receipts, what actually happened in South Korea, why it matters, and where XRP truly sits in this whole shift. No fake tweets, no lies, just the real game. Because the people who see what's actually happening are the ones who never get played. Stop scrolling. Let's go. Real quick, straight from the heart. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here is a promise. Anything I say about price or history is my opinion or context, never a guarantee. I make these videos because I believe in this space, and I believe in you. So do your own research, protect your family first, and let's stay patient together. Cool? Let's get into it. Let me give you the real announcement first, because the facts matter more than the hype. Here's what's true. KB Kookmin Bank, South Korea's largest bank, is launching a cross-border payment service, and it's going live as early as next month. It's built for import and export businesses, moving US dollars across 10 countries, and it runs on a blockchain. That part is 100% real, and it's a genuinely big deal. South Korea's biggest lender is putting real corporate payments on blockchain rails. That's not nothing. That's huge. Now here's the part the hype machine skipped. The blockchain it runs on is called Kinexys, and Kinexys is JPMorgan's platform. Not XRP, not the XRP Ledger, not Ripple. It's JPMorgan's own private, permissioned network. And here's the detail that kills the fake headline entirely. It doesn't use public crypto tokens at all. Not one. It moves tokenized bank deposits, basically digital dollars sitting inside the banking system, and it even plugs into the old SWIFT network. So when a channel slaps a fake JPMorgan tweet on a thumbnail screaming XRP going live, understand exactly what that is. It's fiction, designed to get your click and your disappointment later. So here's where folks go wrong. They see JPMorgan plus blockchain plus South Korea, and their brain fills in XRP, because that's the story they want. Nope. I'm not going to lie to you to make you feel good for 30 seconds and then let reality mug you next week. This specific news is a JPMorgan Kinexys story. Full stop. But, and this is why you're still here, the fact that it's not XRP does not mean it's bad news for XRP. Actually, the opposite. Because what this proves is the single most important trend of this entire cycle. Let me show you. Because once you understand why a bank this size is racing onto blockchain rails, you'll see why XRP holders should be excited about this, even though XRP isn't the one in the headline. The signal is bigger than the story. That's next. Okay, so let's zoom out, because this is where the real gold is. Forget the fake headline for a second and look at the pattern. South Korea's biggest bank just chose blockchain to move money across borders. And it's not alone. 9 Korean banks are in a government-backed project using tokenized deposits, with a rollout planned for later this year. Zoom out further, and you've seen us cover this same move over and over. Banks tokenizing, institutions building on-chain, the old rails getting replaced piece by piece. This Kookmin news isn't a one-off. It's another domino in a line of dominoes that's been falling for months. Here's the thing that matters. When the biggest, most conservative banks on the planet, the ones that spent a decade mocking this technology, start putting real, live, corporate payments on blockchain, they're making a confession. They're admitting the old system is finished. Days-long settlement, expensive middlemen, markets that close, all of it is getting swapped for blockchain rails that settle in seconds and never sleep. Kookmin Bank Kinexys is one bank saying that out loud. And when one giant moves, the rest feel the pressure to move too, or get left behind. So why does that matter to you as an XRP holder, when this particular deal uses JPMorgan's private chain and not XRP? Because the entire thesis behind XRP is that the world moves onto blockchain rails for value transfer. That's the whole bet. And every single time a major bank validates that thesis, even on someone else's chain, it proves the direction is real. The tide is coming in. Kookmin just confirmed the tide. The only question left is which boats rise with it. Let me pause right here, because I need to know something. Did you know South Korea's biggest bank was going live on blockchain before the fake XRP headlines hit your feed? Type yes or no in the comments. I read them personally, and I want to see how many of you knew the real story. Yes or no. Go, then come right back. All right, so the direction is proven. Banks are going on-chain. But that leaves the question that actually pays. In a world where everyone's moving to blockchain rails, where does XRP genuinely fit? Not the fake version, the real one. Let me show you. So let's talk about the real XRP story, the one that doesn't need a fake tweet because it actually happened. Remember the pattern the hype channels are confusing everyone with? Here's the version with receipts. Earlier this year, JPMorgan, Mastercard, Ondo and Ripple completed a real, live transaction, a cross-border settlement of a tokenized US Treasury, and they ran it on the XRP Ledger. Not a demo, not a white paper, a live settlement done in about 5 seconds on XRP's rails. That's the real institutional proof point. And notice, yes, JP Morgan's name is in that one too. So the confusion is understandable. But that was a separate event on the XRP Ledger, and it's the one that actually shows XRP in the institutional game. And it's not a one-off either. Real-world assets tokenized on the XRP Ledger have already crossed $4 billion. The XRPL was built from the ground up for exactly this: fast, cheap, always-on settlement of value that doesn't sit still. So while Kookmin's specific deal runs on JP Morgan's private chain, the broader shift it represents, institutions settling real value on blockchain, is the exact game the XRP Ledger was designed to compete in. Now let me keep it 100 with you, because that's the deal on this channel. This does not mean XRP wins every deal. JP Morgan has its own chain. Other networks are competing hard. Kookmin didn't pick XRP, and pretending they did would make me no better than the fake tweet crowd. But here's what's true and what matters. XRP already has live institutional settlement on its ledger, already has billions in tokenized assets, and already sits in the exact lane every one of these banks is racing into. It's not a lottery ticket hoping for relevance, it's already on the field. And that's the honest bull case. Not JP Morgan launched XRP. That's fake. The real one is quieter and stronger. The whole system is moving to the rails XRP was built for, and XRP is already proven on them. You don't need a fake headline when the real one is this good. But here's what nobody's telling you about South Korea specifically. There's a reason Seoul keeps showing up at the start of XRP's biggest moves, and understanding it changes how you read this week entirely. Let me show you the history. So let's talk about South Korea, because this is the part that gives this whole story its weight. Here's a pattern that's almost eerie. In 2017 and again in 2020, some of XRP's most explosive moves had South Korea right in the middle of them. Korean exchanges, Korean retail demand. Seoul has historically been one of the most XRP-hungry markets on the entire planet. When Korea got excited about XRP, the price felt it. That's not a prediction, it's history, documented, real. And it's why, whenever big crypto news comes out of South Korea, XRP holders' ears perk up. There's muscle memory there. So now, connect the dots the honest way. South Korea has this deep, proven appetite for XRP. And now, South Korea's largest bank is going live on blockchain rails for cross-border payments. Even though this specific service isn't XRP, it tells you something powerful. One of the most crypto-forward countries on Earth, with a track record of moving XRP markets, is going all in on blockchain infrastructure at the institutional level. The government's backing tokenized deposits. 9 banks are in. The whole country is leaning into this technology. And here's the reframe I want you to sit with. A country doesn't build blockchain payment rails at the bank level and then ignore the assets that ride on those rails. The infrastructure comes first, the plumbing. And South Korea building the plumbing, while historically being one of XRP's biggest markets, is the kind of quiet setup that matters way more than a fake tweet. Is it a guaranteed third fuse? No. Nobody can promise that, and anybody who does is selling you something. But is it a real, bullish signal from a country that has moved XRP before? Absolutely. That's the difference between hype and homework. Hype says, Korea plus JPMorgan equals XRP to the moon tomorrow. Homework says, one of XRP's most important historical markets is building serious blockchain infrastructure, and that's a foundation worth watching. One of those gets you clicks, the other gets you understanding. I'd rather give you understanding. So before the last section, here's my challenge. Everyone chasing the fake headline is going to feel dumb next week when nothing goes live. But the people who understood the real signal, they're positioned differently. 60 more seconds. This is the part that's actually about you. Let me bring this whole thing home. Here's where we actually stand. South Korea's biggest bank is going live on blockchain rails. Real, confirmed, and big. It's JPMorgan's private network, not XRP. So anyone selling you XRP went live is selling you fiction. But the signal underneath is powerfully real. The entire financial system is migrating to the exact kind of rails XRP was built for. XRP already has live institutional settlement and billions in tokenized assets on its ledger. And one of XRP's most important historical markets is building blockchain infrastructure at full speed. The fake story is small. The real story is huge. Now, I know some of you came in hoping for XRP is live, we're rich, and instead, I gave you the truth. And maybe that stings a little. But here's why I did it, and why it matters more than a dopamine hit. The people who get rich in this space aren't the ones who fall for every fake tweet. They're the ones who can tell the difference between noise and signal, who stay calm when everyone's screaming, and who understand what's actually being built. That's the edge, not hype, clarity. And when you look at the real picture, banks going on-chain, XRP already proven with institutions, South Korea leaning in, the whole system rebuilding on blockchain, the honest conclusion is the most bullish one of all. We're early. Not because of one headline, but because of the entire direction of travel. The foundation is being poured, bank by bank, country by country, and XRP is already standing on the field where the game is being played. The pain doesn't last forever. It never does. And the foundation is being poured right now. The real one, not the fake tweet one, whether the chart shows it today or 6 months from now. So here's what I need from you. If you're tired of getting played by fake thumbnails and want the real story every time, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because that's the whole promise of this channel. The truth, even when it's less exciting than the lie. Drop your yes or no in the comments if you haven't. And tell me straight, did you almost fall for the XRP went live headline today? Be honest, I read every single comment. Stay early, stay sharp, stay unshakable. Protect your family, do your own research, and never let anyone, including me, rush your decisions or sell you a fake headline. This has been Crypto with BHW. We're early, the foundation is being poured, and I'll see you in the very next one.